Good morning. Is it audible? Yes. Okay, so today we are going to start ethics. Please settle down. Anyone here who has read about ethics? Basics you have done, but we'll again start from the very basics so that everybody is on the same page, and then we'll take it to a very perfection level. That has to be our aim. I enjoy teaching ethics the most interesting subject. You don't have to rote learn a lot of things. Everything has to be understood, and you have to use your brains. If you see ethics, it is asked in which paper? GS4. See, when you see GS1 for example, which subjects are covered in GS1? Can you tell me? Geography is there. History also there is. Modern, art and culture is there. What else? Society. Some sort of disaster management is also asked sometimes. So when you cover all these subjects, you cover GS1. When you come to GS2, what are the subjects in GS2? Polity, governance, social justice, IR. You cover 4 subjects to cover 1 paper. Then in GS3 it is even better. Economics, agri, disaster management, internal security, environment. You have to cover 5 subjects for 250 marks. But GS4, you only have to cover 1 paper, simple ethics, and it is going to give you 250 marks. So ethics is very rational people are focusing on ethics because it has very high ROI. If you see mark sheets of toppers also, they always have good marks in ethics, majority of them, because ethics is very scoring, and we also have to study it in a way that we score the maximum. Fine. So now if we look at ethics, see, these are all the things that we are going to cover. Next 2 to 3 weeks we are going to give to ethics, and we are going to have very good discussions about it. Also, if you have read IR from me, you know I like to talk a lot. I want you to speak up, engage, use your brains, because simply writing is not going to get you anywhere. Engage, use your brains, and then by the end of this course you will be very confident in ethics. That I can make sure. When I was giving my exams, I was getting one of the highest marks in ethics only. And it will be simple. So now what are the chapters here? First is ethics and human interface. What are ethics? What are values? What is morality? All those basics we will cover. How ethics forms, how do you develop values? Then there is something called attitude. Then we will move on to aptitude. Then emotional intelligence. Then in ethics we also have to see some moral thinkers, both Indian and Western. In Indian we will have to read about Mr. Gandhi, Buddha, anybody else, Dr. Ambedkar. What were they saying? How we can use them in ethics per se. When you talk about Western philosophy, do you know any thinkers in Western philosophy? Plato, Aristotle, yes, John Rawls. So what were these people saying, etc. We'll just have a brief idea. Then why are we reading ethics? Because so that when you get selected, you will be ethical. They expect you. So there is a separate chapter which is probity in governance. How ethics are used in governance. How in governance you think ethics are useful if you have to curb corruption, all those things. So this is there. Good governance, transparency, RTI, accountability, everything we are going to read. This portion has certain overlap with governance in GS2. Next we are going to read about ethics in international relations also. There are ethics. In corporate there are ethics. And then there is a very big section called case studies. See, if ethics is asked of 250 marks, the paper is 250 marks, out of which 130 is everything and 120 marks are asked from case studies. There are 6 questions of case studies, 20 marks each. Very scoring. Once you crack how to do it, 120 marks are secured. Fine. But yes, case study is just an application of all these things. So first we'll read all this and simultaneously we'll do case studies. Any doubts still here? All I want you to do while attending classes, do not eat a lot of food before attending classes so that you are not sleepy. Participate more, and even if you are giving wrong answers, it's okay. There is no right and wrong in ethics. We'll start with that only. Should we start? Yes? Okay then. Please write the heading of the chapter, Ethics and Human Interface. Chapter 1, Ethics and Human Interface. So see, there are three key terms. Ethics, I'll make you write, ethics, values and morality. They are going to be used a lot in our discussion. So first of all, we'll clarify what these three terms mean. First term is values. Can you tell me what do you understand by values? What are values? Can you name some values for me? Is honesty a value? Kindness, care, love, all these are values. Then there is something called morality and ethics. Can somebody tell me what are values? What are values? Yes, you can inculcate, but values are also good and bad, no? So inculcation, we might not. Values are basically nothing but set of principles that you attach value to. Fine? Please write values. We will discuss a lot on this. First, values. Values are the principles or things. Values are the principles or things to which an individual or group of individuals attaches importance. In other words, attaches importance. In other words, values are the preferences. In other words, values are the preferences of individuals. Values are the preferences of individuals. For example, so look here, values is anything which you feel is very important in your life. For example, for you there might be honesty. You think honesty is very important in life and honesty is a value. Some people might think kindness is very important, so they will attach their importance to kindness. So values are those principles to whom individuals attach value. It might be honesty, it might be kindness, it might be compassion, it might be love, anything like that. So just write for example, honesty. For example, honesty, hard work, loyalty, etc. Now write an important point. Values may differ from, next point, values may differ from individual to individual, may differ from individual to individual, place to place, time to time, and context to context. So this is important to understand. See, I said that values are the principles to which we attach value, but they change. Values are not consistent, they keep on changing, like from individual to individual. For example, somebody, you here believe in hard work, that I have to work from morning 8 to night 10, hard work. She might believe in something called work-life balance. I will only work from 9 to 5, then I have other things to do. Right? So is there a change in values? Yes. So values change from person to person. Somebody might give a lot of importance to money. Like I should have luxury lifestyle. Until I buy a BMW, I will not be satisfied. Then there will be other person, he will be happy in a Wagoner. For him, BMW carries no value. He values satisfaction more. Fine. So values change from individual to individual. Is this point clear? Yes. Next, what did we write? From individual to individual. After that? From place to place. So now see. Is touching the feet of elders a value in India? But is it a value in Japan? In Japan, what is the value they write? They bow. Right? But in India, does this happen? No. So values are changing. Even ethics are changing. For example, next, if you see Middle East, there women wear burqa. It is a value they attach. Yes, we have to wear burqa in public. Does that happen in say some Norway? No, does not happen. Some people might be doing it, but it is not a value they attach importance to. In India, respecting elders is a very big value. Whenever you see an elder, you do not care about what his job, how much intellect he has. If he is elder to you, you will talk to him in a certain way. But when you are in US or Europe, they call their elders by their name only. Hey John, how are you? Fine. Even if he is 20 years elder to you. Why? Because there they believe more in equality. But in India, it is age driven. There it is more profession driven. You understand? So place to place also, values are changing. Next, what did we write? Time to time. Can you tell me any value which is changing from past time to time?
When we are okay, we give respect towards them. When we are angry, we change the words only.
Okay, but I mean any value 100 years ago or 200 years ago, there was a different value and now it is a different value. For example, you think 300 years ago, patriarchy was the value which is being followed. Everybody realized that patriarchy is the thing, males are superior. But now the value is gender equality. Now anybody talks about against gender equality, he is always shunned away. Right? Because now gender equality is the value. 300 years ago, 400 years ago, Sati Pratha was somewhere acceptable. That was the value. But today, is Sati Pratha there? No. Fine. Caste discrimination. It was a value which was followed 300 years ago. But today, no. So you understand? From time to time. Today there is a very big value that we follow which is called sustainable development. You think 50 years ago we were talking about sustainable development? No, we were just talking about development. We should develop, but today we also are talking about sustainable development. Fine, so these are the values which are changing from time to time. And last was context to context. Now values are changing with context. For example, do you think killing is good? No. But if I send you in army, will you kill? Will you kill happily? Yes, because at that point killing will be equated with saving your nation. Today killing is associated with crime. So does it change with the context also? Yes. So that is what we wrote. So you can write these examples there. That individual to individual you can write. Individual to individual, hard work versus smart work. In individual to individual, hard work versus work-life balance or smart work. Or if you have seen these people, there are some people who are very right-wing. We have to focus on our culture should not be destroyed. People should be focusing on Akhand Bharat, that old traditions. And then there are some people who are very modern. They are like, I don't care about what happened ago, I want a society which is very progressive. Again, those two persons, they have different values. Next, write down place individual to individual. After that, what did you write? Place to place. So you can write reflects in dressing sense. Reflects in dressing sense. Reflects in dressing sense of various areas. Burqa versus sari, or burqa versus skirt, anything. Next, time to time. Time to time. Patriarchy versus gender equality. And next, context to context. Killing in army versus society. Is non-violence a good value? Yes, it is promoted by Buddhism, Jainism, but can our army be non-violent? No. So it is changing. Values keep on changing. Is there any doubt here? No. Then write down. Just write one quote here. Whenever a question about values is asked, you can use this quote. Values are like fingerprints. Values are like fingerprints. Full stop. Nobody's are the same. Values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, comma, but you leave them. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them all over everything you do. All over everything you do. It is said by Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley. Now write morality. Now write morality. Values you understand now? Values are certain principles to which we attach importance. If this is important, honesty is important, value. But now there is something called morality. Very closely related, morality and ethics. See, what is right and wrong? Generally we have to make a decision, this is right or wrong. For example, do you think corruption is right or wrong? Wrong. So this is your morality. On individual level, your idea of right and wrong is your morality. But how did you say corruption is wrong? Is it based on the value of honesty? Yes. Because you think honesty is important, that is why corruption is bad. So morality is basically your idea of right and wrong. Correct? That is morality. And if I say moralities are based on values, yes. Fine? Because if you think honesty is good, you will always say corruption is bad. If you think hard work is good, you will always say कि wasting your entire day is bad. Fine. So morality is nothing but individual idea of right and wrong. I will make you write the definition. What is ethics then? Ethics is the societal idea of right and wrong. What the society believes. For example, Indian society in general. Do you think Indian society believes in having decent dressing compared to a Europe for that matter, where bikinis are very common? Indian society as a whole is believing in certain things. Fine. So when society believes in something, it is called ethics. When individual believes in something, it is called morality. And all these beliefs are on the basis of something called values. So write, it will get more clear now. Just write morality. They are individual centric principles. They are individual centric, underline individual centric. They are individual centric principles that help determine right and wrong, that help determine right and wrong. They help determine right and wrong, comma, rooted in personal conscious, rooted in personal conscious. In bracket you can write which is based on values, which is based on values. Your personal conscious is always based on some values. Full stop. Yes, that's all. For example, right? For example, staying faithful in a relationship, right now, staying faithful, example, staying faithful in a relationship is moral to a person, who values, loyalty. Who values loyalty. You understand? So there is a value of loyalty. Some people believe in that you should be very loyal to one person. For example, if you have a husband or a wife, you have to be loyal. That is your morality. Why? Because you actually value this particular value. This loyalty is a value. Some people might value this particular value. Freedom. They are going around, they are like, why do you have to be with one partner all your entire life? I will have 10 partners in my life because I value freedom. This person valued loyalty. So values are changing from individual to individual. So morality can also change from individual to individual. Correct? But then comes ethics. Please write down. Just, yes, write down ethics. Ethics are societal in orientation. Ethics are societal in orientation. Morality was individual centric, this is societal. Ethics are societal in orientation, full stop. They are a codification. They are a codification of principles. They are codification of principles that help determine right and wrong, for society. Example, a judge should be impartial. Example, a judge should be impartial. Do we all believe in this, that a judge should be impartial? So is it ethics or morality? Ethics, because we all as a group are believing in certain value. So when a group believes in a thing, it is ethics. If I individual believe in something, it is morality. Clear? Fine. Now, you have to understand this particular diagram, and whenever these three terms are asked, you have to draw them. Values are your preferences, you can see and then you can draw. Values are the preferences which we think are important, like honesty, like transparency, etc. based on some values, is morality formed? Yes. And on values, ethics are also formed. But they also have a connection, which I am going to explain. You just draw this first. Very simple. Values is the base on which these two things are made. Done? See, remember Raja Ram Mohan Roy? Have you heard about him? What is he credited for? Abolition of Sati Pratha. So now see, at one point of time, was Sati Pratha considered ethical in India? Yes. What was Sati Pratha? That basically when your husband dies, the woman also has to sacrifice herself. That was Sati Pratha. That was ethical at one point of time. But one person stood up, Dr. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He said that this is not moral. He was the person who said, as per me, on my individual level, this is not moral. But one person was saying it is not moral. The entire society believed it was ethical. When he convinced enough people to believe that this is not moral, and when enough people believed in a particular thing, it converted from morality to new ethics of the society. Now everybody thinks that Sati Pratha is bad. So you understand how personal morality can lead to a change in societal ethics. You understand? For example, if you have heard about this Sabrimala case, till now it was considered, or the society believed that men should only enter this temple, females were not allowed to enter, and everybody agreed for like thousands of years. It was considered ethical. If a woman entered, it was considered non-ethical. You are doing something non-ethical. But there was a Sabrimala case, etc. Some woman actually stood up and said, this is not right. This does not align with our morality. So some people stood up, and later the Supreme Court gave a judgment. And now from morality, now the new ethics is that anybody can enter. So do you think ethics also change? Yes, from time to time, as we were discussing. And how do they change? With some people who say this is not moral. Some people rise up and they change it. For example, if you see in India, there was a rule of kings and queens. Till 1947 there were kings. We believed that being a king and this system is ethical. But then some people rose up and started to talk about democracy. There should be democracy, there should be freedom, there should be rights, etc. And today, is having rights and democracy ethical? Yes, now that is ethical. So ethics also keep on evolving in a society. Some people say this is not moral as per me, it changes. You understand? Is it making sense? Then please write down. You can write this example. You can write this example. Here you can write suppose there is a value which is integrity. If somebody believes in integrity, their morality will lead them to never take bribe. Have you recently heard about Mr. Tukaram Munde? He has been in news a lot. What is he doing? Why is he so much in news? Come on, speak up. Why? I want you guys to speak up. Why is he so much in news? Basically, he is the food commissioner, Maharashtra, Mumbai. And what is he doing? He is raiding everything. He is saying, if you are adulterating the food in any way, I am going to come after you. Very famous. So is he valuing integrity? Integrity is a value like honesty. I will do my work with utmost passion. That is integrity. Do you think he values integrity? Yes. And in this, if this is a value which he is valuing, is it also leading to his morality? Yes. He is never going to take a bribe. So on his personal level, this is moral. Do you think if we have enough people who are so moral, it is going to later be ethical, that only such officers should be there in the society? Nobody should be taking bribes. So this is how all these things are interrelated: values, ethics and morality. But you should know the exact difference between them. Now, I think now it is clear. Values are the basic principles on which personal morality is built on, and when a societal thing is there, we call it ethics. Any doubts still here? And when you are writing ethics answers, you have to give such examples. Tukaram Munde. Any other honest officers you know about? Yes, Mr. Seshan was there. He was the Chief Election Commissioner of India. Yes, Sridharan was there. I'll make you write also a lot of examples, because when you are writing ethics answers, see, in ethics, as I asked you, killing is right or wrong, depends on the context. So you have to explain everything by giving an example. So in ethics, you should have more and more examples. Read about some. Who is your favorite bureaucrat? You all are aspiring to become bureaucrats. Do you have a favorite bureaucrat? Have you heard about any? Please don't tell me somebody who has an empire of 1000 crore is your favorite. Somebody honest? See, we all have a favorite cricketer, a favorite actor, actress. Do you have a favorite bureaucrat? Favorite IPS, IAS? Tomorrow I am going to ask you this. Please look up. See somebody who actually inspires you. Fine, and then we'll talk about it. These three things are clear? No doubts? Shall we move ahead? If you have any doubts, you can ask. Now write the heading, types of values. Types of values. Types of values. First is instrumental values. Instrumental values. Instrumental values. Right? These are the values, or these are the things we value. These are the things we value because they help us achieve something else. Because they help us to achieve something else. So see, wait, first I'll explain, then we'll write more. There are two types of values. First type of value is intrinsic and the other is instrumental. What is the difference? See, there are some values which you do just to do them. You don't have another objective. For example, is friendship a value you have? Friendship. Do you want to achieve something by that friendship, or you are just having friendship because it makes you happy? Makes you happy. You are not looking to achieve something. So these are called intrinsic values. Basically they are end in themselves. End in itself. End in itself basically means you are not doing it for some other purpose. Love, kindness, care. Do you love your mom out of something, some goal? No, you just love her. Why? Because it is a intrinsic value we hold. But then there comes instrumental values. For example, today education. How many of you are just taking this education for the sake of getting educated? Or do you actually aim to attend this class and crack an exam then? Crack an exam. Fine. Why do you want to get rich? You want to get rich so that you can buy luxury. Fine. So getting rich is not the goal. The goal is getting rich and then doing something else. Getting educated, getting access to technology. If you have access to technology, you will do something else. So all these things which are means to an end, they are not your end goal. Getting educated is not your end goal. Your end goal is cracking the exam. So these are called instrumental values, and intrinsic values are those which have no end goal. They are the end goal. Love, kindness, care, compassion. Understand? So write example in this instrumental. Example. Education. Education. Hard work. Hard work. Punctuality. Money, etc. And next write down intrinsic values. Intrinsic values. Or instrumental, you can write one line that they are means to an end. Important. They are means to an end. They are means to an end. Then write intrinsic values. Here you can write end in itself. End in itself. Intrinsic values. Please write down. These are the things we value. These are the things we value. These are the things we value for their own sake. These are the things we value for their own sake. Comma. And not because they help us, and not because they help us get something else. And not because they help us get something else. Examples. Love, happiness, human dignity, freedom, justice, etc. etc. Any doubts in this? No? Easy. Next heading, write down classification of values. Classification of values. Classification of values, or in bracket you can write nature of values. Nature of values. Nature of values. First write down universal versus particularistic values. Universal versus particularistic values. Universal versus particularistic. We'll elaborate on this first. Again, I have already explained. Some values are universal in nature. Like, now you can tell me. Honesty, which is valued universally. Everybody, every country is valuing honesty, peace, love, compassion, universal values. Then there are particularistic values. Particularistic means only some countries value it. For example, touching elders' feet in India, a particularistic value. Bowing in Japan, particularistic value. Eating with chopsticks, China. Fine. Anything else about any other country you know? Very specific value which is being followed there. Anything? Maybe some tribes are doing some particular practices, very particularistic again. So this is the basic idea of universal versus particularistic. Write down, it is simple only. Values accepted by almost all societies and cultures are universal. Example, murdering innocents. Example, murdering innocents. Murdering innocents whether in India, Japan or Brazil is considered wrong. And next line, write down values specific to a culture. Religion, community or group, is called particularistic. Example, touching elders' feet in India. Or bowing in Japan. Next, write down objective versus subjective values. So again, objective values are those values which everybody is following. Universal was country wise. This is individual wise. Everybody follows some objective things like love. Is there anybody in the world who will not be following the value of love? If there is, it will be very cruel person maybe. But generally everybody is. These are objective values. They do not change with time, place, person, context, anything. They are objective. Love used to exist 5,000 years ago, will continue to exist for 5,000 years more. Fine. So love is a value which is very objective. But then there are some subjective values. For example, simplicity versus luxury. Some person might like simplicity, some person might like luxury, some person might like Indian food, some person might like Chinese food, some person might like Spanish food, for that matter. So all these things are subjective. Is killing a subjective value? If army is killing, it's good, we are all celebrating. But if I kill somebody, nobody is going to celebrate. Why? Because it is again subjective. So these things are all subjective values. So objective versus subjective. So we'll simply write example here. Objective, example. Justice, human rights. Human dignity, etc. Write in objective only or move to subjective. Example, preference for simplicity versus luxury. Preference for simplicity versus luxury, comma. Vegetarianism versus non-vegetarianism. Vegetarianism versus non-vegetarianism. Next, write down. Career success versus family life. Hello. Yes.
आपका नंबर मुझे अभी से फाइल नहीं है।
हाँ जी बताइए।
आपका मुझे रिंग का कुरियर करना था
जी जी जी।
कि मैंने उसके रिगार्डिंग कॉल किया कि हम तो एक ऑनलाइन ई कॉमर्स बिजनेस है हमारा, सो हमारे पास लॉजिस्टिक पार्टनर है, तो मेरे
Okay.
क्लाइंट बोला कि हमारे थ्रू शिप कर सकते हो, तो
ठीक है, मैं आपको बस आधे घंटे में कॉल करूँ क्या?
ठीक है
ओके अपना सॉरी। नेक्स्ट इज कांस्टेंट वर्सेस टाइम स्पेसिफिक. कांस्टेंट वर्सेस टाइम स्पेसिफिक. Constant versus time specific. Write some example in constant. Truthfulness. It's a constant value, not changing with time. Honesty. These are all constant values, existed long ago, will keep on existing. And then time specific. Time specific. Can you tell me some time specific values which have recently come up? You can write sustainable development. Please write down sustainable development. Is privacy a value now? Data privacy. Yes. Now we are talking about data privacy. Earlier we never used to talk about privacy and all. So now there is a new value, data privacy. That, for example, your data should not be leaked. So please write down sustainable development, comma, data privacy. In COVID, we also had one more value, social distancing. Yeah, people always never wanted to come close to you. They were following something called social distancing. So usually you do not feel it is ethical. If somebody is coming to you and you will say, stay away, it is considered rude. But was it considered rude while we were going through a pandemic? No. Because context specific. At that point, everyone was wearing a mask and not talking to a lot of people, not even shaking their hands. Why? Because there was a threat of transmission of the virus. So again, context specific. Today, if I give you my hand, you will most probably shake it, but not at that point of time. So please write down social distancing during pandemic. Etc. Etc. Now write a question. Write a question. Ethics and morality have a special relationship. Ethics and morality have a special relationship. Discuss. Ethics and morality have a special relationship. Discuss. So now we have read a lot about ethics and morality, lot of examples, what is ethical, what is moral, what is value, etc. Now if you come across this question, ethics and morality have a relationship, special relationship. How are we going to attempt this question in real exam? See, understanding reading is one thing, attempting, how are we going to use this knowledge now? What will you do in this question first of all? Can you tell me? Are you going to define what is ethics and what is morality first of all? Firstly, we will tell what is ethics, what is morality. So what is morality? On individual level, our idea of right and wrong. What is ethics? On societal level, our idea of right and wrong. Fine. So first of all we defined. Then we said they have a special relationship. So now we will have to emphasize what is this special relationship. So by this question I wanted to bring you to a concept. See, sometimes ethics and morality are complementary in nature. In our answer, firstly we will define this, Then we'll write their special relationship is they are complementary. Like as a moral person, I will say that honesty is the best policy, and also I will prefer a ethical society. Of course, suppose I personally believe that I should not mistreat a woman, and then I will always want a society which is gender neutral. So they usually have complementary relationship. You understand complementary relationship? What I personally believe, the society also believes in it. Perfect. For example, if you want to eat, for example, if you personally believe in liberty, कि everybody should make their own choice. Do you think India's secularism is an idea of liberty? Anybody can follow whatever religion they want. It aligns with you. So first of all, they have a complementary relationship. But sometimes ethics and morality also have a conflicting relationship. So this brings us to our next topic. For example, suppose you are somebody who loves plants a lot, trees, greenery. You are a person who loves the nature, against destruction. But then there is a road. You are basically now an IAS officer, and now you have got a project that you have to build a highway from this particular place. So you have to cut down on a lot of trees. Do you think it will come, these ethics, professional ethics that you have to do your official job ethics, will they come in conflict with your personal beliefs of loving the nature? Yes, they will. Suppose, or another example, you are a very compassionate person. Very compassionate. Compassionate basically means, suppose you generally see people, poor people, you always give them something. You are compassionate, you believe that they are not right. You are a soft-hearted person. Compassionate. Then you become an IAS officer and there is a scheme running. Free medical test will be given to people who are below poverty line. Fine, it aligns with your morality. But then there is a 80-year-old woman who's coming to your office and saying, I actually have this disease, please allow me to get enrolled under this scheme. So you ask for her Aadhaar, and she is not having any Aadhaar card. So now your official rules say don't allow her. Aadhaar is mandatory. But as a compassionate person, you want to help her. Again, is this conflicting? Yes. Ethics versus morality. Sometimes they are complementary, sometimes they are conflicting. Suppose, what can be another example? You love Karnataka. You love this particular state. Ki Karnataka is a great state and I just will die for my particular state. But then some person will come up and say ki, don't you love India more? Do you love India more or Karnataka? Again, they are not conflicting. Karnataka is also a part of India only. So you are in a way loving India. It's like I love my hand more or my body more. But the idea is regionalism versus nationalism. Might be you are a person who never likes killing, but then you get into the army and now you have to kill people. Again, ethics versus morality. While you are shooting that person, or you become an IPS officer, sometimes IPS officers also go for encounters. You are basically in an encounter and that particular criminal has taken a child as his shield. There is a 4-year child he is holding. If you shoot, the child will also die. Do you shoot or do you not shoot? You have orders to kill. That person is a threat. What do we do? At least there is a conflict. We have to think. This is the idea of value conflict. So when I talk about, that is why it was important to tell you the difference between morality and ethics. Because sometimes certain values are conflicting. You understand the point I am trying to make? So please write down. This question you have written, now move to next. Value conflict. Value conflict, very important concept. Write down. Ethics and morality are two sides of the same coin. Ethics and morality are two sides of the same coin. Are two sides of the same coin. Sometimes they have complementary nature. Sometimes they have complementary nature. Sometimes they have complementary nature. But sometimes they also have conflicting nature. Sometimes they also have conflicting nature. Example. On personal and religious issues, individual conscience, on personal and religious issues, individual conscience can clash with the codified societal position. For example, do you think in your religion there is any problem, or do you think your religion is totally perfect? If you think, you will always find something in whatever religion you follow. No religion in this world is perfect. There will be some problem. So your morality will say this is a problem, but will you go against everybody? No. For example, dowry. Dowry is a practice, we all say it is very bad. But is dowry still prevalent? Yes. Why are we not going against it? Despite our personal morality asking us not to go for dowry, but then societal ethics are designed in such a way that we are bound to give some dowry even in this 21st century. It is still happening. Our religion, all religions for that matter, somewhere have a component of discrimination against women. Somewhere all religions are discriminating against women. But how many people are actually raising their voice against their own religion for women empowerment? Even women included. How many women are actually fighting for their own rights with their religious people? Very, very few. The whole idea is again a clash between morality and ethics. So yeah, write down. This situation is called the clash between. This situation is called the clash between ethics and morality. Ethics and morality. Which leads to an applied concept of value conflict. Applied concept of value conflict, and then write the heading value conflict. Write the heading value conflict. So as we discussed, many values are often competing with each other, like development versus environment, regionalism versus nationalism, liberty versus equality. All these are fighting. Socialism versus capitalism. Again, these are competing values. Write down. Value conflict is natural. Value conflict is natural in the society. Value conflict is natural in the society. Value conflict is natural in the society as humans are very diverse. Humans are very diverse in ideology. Humans are very diverse in ideology, religion, culture, language, caste, gender, etc. Full stop. Value conflict is not the problem. Value conflict is not the problem. Value conflict is not the problem, but the mismanagement of value conflict. But the mismanagement of value conflict gives rise to adverse consequences. Gives rise to adverse consequences. So see, values are going to conflict. We are living in a very diverse society, but mismanagement is the problem. Remember this recent protest in Delhi, student protest regarding NEET paper leak? Do you think protest was the problem, or the way it was handled was the problem? Handled. People were there protesting for 20 days. The ideal scenario would have been somebody should have like gone on the 7th, 8th day and said ki what is the problem, let's talk. Let's talk it out, sort it out. You want resignation, we want something else, we will talk it out. That is one way to do things. The other way is mismanagement. Keep protesting. We don't get 23, 24 days it has been. And then you suddenly take Sonam Wangchuk. Did you see those visuals? In a white particular bed sheet they were taking it. And that sent actually a very bad message in the society. Ki forceful things are being done. And then on 20th July, if I am not wrong, there were very violent scenes which are coming out of that particular place. Police was dragging students out. So those visuals came out. Again, till the time protest was peaceful, was there a problem? No. But mismanagement of value conflict is the problem. Values are going to conflict. All your case studies, how many case studies will come? 6. How many marks it will? 120 marks. All the case studies, at least 5 out of 6 are going to be based on value conflict only. That is why it is a very important concept. You will see all the previous year questions, somewhere they are all linked to value conflict. There will be a case study which will put you in this situation that you are an IAS officer and you have to clear this forest. But there are people, for example, suppose if there is a forest which has some tribes living in it, some scheduled tribes are living here. You come here as a forest officer and it is given to you that you have to clear this particular area of the forest and build a new high-rise society over there. But then people come to you, ki sir, we are living here for 30 years, how can you do this? But they don't have papers. But they are living here for 30, 40 years, their generations are living here, they are poor people only. Now, how do you proceed? Will you just say, I don't care about you and build a high-rise building? Option 1, mismanagement. Again, mismanagement. Option 2, you keep staying, I will not develop anything. Is this the way to do things? No, then you are not doing your professional duty. Again a problem. Then you always have to find a middle way. Something which satisfies both of them. So in this scenario, what will you do? Yes, you will ensure that they are rehabilitated somewhere. Fine. You will try to see what laws exist, how you can accommodate them somewhere else, or if there is some scheme of the government which is providing free homes. There is a scheme. Which? There are schemes of the government which are providing shelter and homes. So you will try to accommodate them over there. So these are the middle ways you have to find. But in all cases there will be a value conflict. So this is very important from your case study point of view. What did you write last? Mismanagement of value conflict is the problem. Yes. So this is recently protests are happening in Jharkhand also. Are you following these protests? Again, people are trying to talk to the government is not listening. Mismanagement. So mismanagement is the problem. Values are going to conflict. For example, sometimes what happens, there is a Hindu festival and there is a Muslim festival which falls on the same day. On the same day there is a Hindu festival, Muslim festival. And if you know, there are some elements, some nasty elements on both sides. They are always looking for some conflict. But have you seen, whenever there is such a scenario, there is more police force in action to better manage things. But if you remove all the police force, again it will lead to mismanagement. Does the CM of Karnataka live in Bangalore? Yes. Sometimes you have seen that CM of Karnataka is passing and whole road is blocked. Yes. Do you like it? Of course not. You don't like it. Why? Because there is a value equality. You basically are following the value of equality. But the CM personally might be engaged in some very important work. His time is generally considered more precious than us. So he is maybe following a value which is equality versus preference. He wants to get preference over normal public. There is one CM and he has to take a lot of decisions. He cannot waste time sitting in traffic. He cannot be stuck in traffic. So again, value conflict here. Normal public does not care about this. We want equality, value conflict. But tell me, when the CM convoy is passing, do people start to pelt stones, or they just simply wait? Simply wait, because there is police there, management. So the idea is value conflicts will always be there. The way to handle them is management. And if you go for mismanagement, then it will spiral into a very, very big problem. Understand? So value conflicts will always be there. What kind of problems will lead if we actually lead to mismanagement? Mismanagement leads to a lot of problems. For example, have you heard of Naxalism? Naxalism, you will read a lot about it in internal security. But the root cause of Naxalism is that the people of that particular Naxal area were not satisfied by the government. They were like, we don't understand what is happening, you have just taken over and gained all the resources, not giving us anything. Again, mismanagement. Did you follow the recent case of Bharat TIWARI encounter in Bihar? Yes. What happened? I'll tell you if you did not follow. He was a villager. He wanted, when elections are happening, MLA, MPs all come to your house and say, ki, give us vote and I will do this for you. So one MP or MLA came to his particular village and said, from here we will build a road, here will be a hospital, here will be a school. Okay, fine. Everybody in the village agreed. That village is very prone to rains. Every year flood comes and all the infrastructure just washes away. So the MP promised that we will build flood resistant roads here. Elections happened, that MP win, that MP actually won. Everything was going on. He again and again went to that MP and said, please come and deliver on your promise. You promise you will do this. The MP not coming, MP is not coming, MP is not coming. So finally it led to mismanagement. People of that village were actually infuriated ki again in 2 months flood is going to come and we are going to again lose everything. So what he did, he picked up the gun. What will a person do if he has no option? So sometimes people pick up their guns. Naxals also did the same. When government was not listening to them, they picked up their guns. And once you pick up the gun, then you get engaged with the police gets engaged with you again, and basically he was encountered, which again led to a huge cry on the social media ki how police can actually encounter, etc, etc, etc. We don't have to get into the story. We have to understand what was the basic idea from where everything started. Mismanagement. You could have called that person and talked to him ki these are the funds we are going to build after 2 years, this is the plan, etc. So people also need dialogue with the government, need paper leak. The government could have talked to the student protesters on the second, third day itself. Ki what is the issue? Let us talk and resolve it. But whenever there is mismanagement, it leads to something. It might lead to problems like Naxalism. What was, if you remember about our freedom struggle, we all have followed freedom struggle. Have you seen all those movements, Quit India movement, non-cooperation, civil disobedience? So what was happening over there? These were protesting and Britishers were not listening to us. Again, non-cooperation movement led to a very big incident, Chauri Chaura incident. A lot of violence was there, mismanagement. So the main line important over here is value conflict is not the problem. The problem is mismanagement. When you become IAS or IPS or whatever, if you are in the services, daily you are going to have people who will be complaining about something or the other. Somebody will say water is not proper, somebody will say housing, somebody will say traffic, etc. Will you listen to them or you will just say don't talk to me? You will listen to them, because a very key value that we are going to read now, which is used for all value conflicts, is tolerance. You understand tolerance? Can anybody tell me what is tolerance? Try to define. Yes, ma'am. And see, in ethics, it is beneficial if you try to define things in your own words, your own examples. It is considered very good. Yes, ma'am.
Tolerance is something that we can withstand.
Tolerance is something we can withstand. Okay. Anything else? See, tolerance is a value. Basically, it says that I will listen to your opinions even though I might not agree with them. Right? Despite me, I will make you write this particular statement. Even if I do not agree with you, I will listen to you very properly. This is tolerance. For example, there might be, have you heard about Umar Khalid? A person who is in news. He was giving anti-India statements, anti-national statements. Or more, did you hear about Kasab? Do you know this person? Why was he so famous? 2008 Taj Mahal attacks. He was the person who was attacking Taj Palace in Mumbai. But do you know that he was also given a fair trial in India? He was not just hanged. For 3-4 years, he actually got a lawyer. Somebody was fighting his case in India, and after 4 years it was decided that yes, he should be hanged, and then it was hanged. Did you hear about Nirbhaya gang rape case? Yes. So what happened to the gang rape people? Were they just taken out next day and hanged? No. Even they were listened to. In India, we follow this particular idea of justice, that we will at least listen to you. When you said your thing, they said your thing, finally there was a decision. But we will always listen to you. This is the idea of tolerance. No matter how shitty your argument is, we are going to listen to you. Tolerance. And in order to solve any value conflict, what we need? Tolerance, dialogue. So now we'll write. Value conflict, we have written, okay. Consequences of value conflict include mismanaged value conflict include class conflict, religious conflicts. Consequences of mismanaged value conflicts include class conflicts, religious conflicts, Naxalism, etc. etc. Some common value conflicts, common value conflicts are so now can you tell me some value conflicts? We will write some. Where do you think two values are conflicting? Environment versus development. Please write down first. Environment versus development. What else? Where else do we see a value conflict? Two values conflicting with each other. Yes, you can write. Please write down. Hindu versus Muslim conflicts. What else if you talk about values? Yes, tribal areas versus development of the area, or we can say tradition versus modernity. Please write tradition versus modernity, because we are talking with respect to values. So tradition versus modernity. Any other value conflict you guys can come up with? Come on, speak up something you might know. Kaveri water. Okay, but Kaveri water, which values are at play? Is it own benefit versus benefit of all? Can we say that one approach to that conflict is both states can basically use that water and progress? But currently what both states think, I should get the maximum or I should get the maximum. So the idea is, you can write own benefit or selfishness versus humility. Can we also say another, democracy versus dictatorship? Yes, democracy versus dictatorship. Sometimes democracy versus dictatorship is also another value conflict we see. Some people are supporting democracy, some people are supporting dictatorship. Anything else? Socialism versus capitalism. Please write. Socialism versus capitalism is another value conflict. Anything else? Regionalism versus nationalism. Regionalism versus nationalism. Regionalism versus nationalism. Next, nationalism versus universalism. Nationalism versus universalism. So basically there are some people, in fact there is a very statement of Rabindranath Tagore. The statement is कि love for the nation is good, but why should love stop at the boundary of the nation? Why? You can love the entire world. The idea of universalism, the idea of India, Vasudeva Kutumbakum, that the whole world is a family. The whole world is a family. So why do you just love till Pakistan border, and just from where Pakistan border starts, we start to hate everyone out there? So this is also a value conflict of nationalism versus universalism. Everybody is our own. Any other value conflict? Write down. Patriarchy versus gender equality. Patriarchy versus gender equality. Privatization versus nationalization. Privatization versus nationalization. Force versus non-violence. Force versus non-violence. Force versus non-violence. Next, status quo. Status quo. Status quo versus proactive. Status quo versus proactive. And last, formalism versus naturalism. Formalism versus naturalism. What is status quo? Basically, status quo is that attitude कि it is what it is. Proactiveness is I will change it. For example, if you go to the problem is if you go to a government office someday, So there people are very status quoist, ki this is the rule, you have to do it. They will not engage with you, no matter how much you request, ki please sir, allow sir, no. This is the rule, you have to follow the rule, status quo. But if you go to a private bank, for example, a private company, they are very proactive. Okay sir, you want this, okay, let me try to get you through this way, through that way, through that way. So they are proactive, they are trying to find a lot of ways. Status quo people are not trying to find any ways, this is the rule, follow or leave. Right? So this is again a problem in approach. So these are the themes which are asked even in case studies. So these themes you have to prepare well. For this you write this down. To address value conflicts, the answer is not to follow any one every time. The answer is not to follow any one every time. Rather, we should seek a balanced solution. Full stop. Next line. The value of tolerance actually comes into play. You can write the definition of tolerance here. Tolerance is an attitude of fairness towards those whose viewpoints, culture, religion, caste, gender differs from your own. So remember the definition of tolerance. It is going to come multiple times. There is this very famous statement of Voltaire with reference to tolerance. So whenever we are discussing about tolerance, you can always give this quote. It was basically also used by Manmohan Singh once. So what happened? Manmohan Singh was visiting a university called JNU. Have you heard about JNU? Jawaharlal Nehru University. So he was visiting JNU, and there were all students. He took a decision basically. I have taught you in IR, India-US civil nuclear deal. So this was a decision taken and everybody was opposing it. So when he entered JNU, everybody was showing him black flags as a way to protest. Then the authorities said ki don't worry, you are the Prime Minister, we are going to take strict actions against these students. And Manmohan Singh said no need to take any student, this is their fundamental right. They can protest peacefully against me, no problems. And when he started his speech, he made one statement. He basically quoted Voltaire. The statement is, I may not agree with what you say, but till my death, I will defend your right to say so. You understand? I will not agree with what you say, but I will always defend your right to say it. because you have a right to say things. So please write down, just start writing. I may not agree. I may not agree with what you say. I may not agree with what you say, comma, but I will defend to my death. I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to my death your right to say so. But I will defend to my death your right to say so. Now just write a heading, how to resolve value conflicts. How to resolve value conflicts. How to resolve value conflicts. So a lot of questions are going to be asked in case study. I am right now just giving you a general framework. If there is a question on, for example, the same question, environment versus development. Remember that theme, that a forest has to be cleared. You have to clear forest, highway needs to be built, but personally you want to save the environment, but your professional ethics are saying you build the highway. Now tell me, if this is the case study, what will you do? Will you just cut all the trees, build the highway? Option 1. Option 2, just say no to your seniors, I will not build the highway, trees are important. Both options are not right. Then we will arrive at some third. So first please write down, how to resolve value conflicts. It's a general framework I am going to give. Step 1. Identify all competing options. Identify all competing options and values. Identify all competing options and values. Do not assume any one side is wrong. Do not assume any one side is completely wrong. Do not assume any one side is completely wrong. This will be step 1. Step 2. Step 2. Assess consequences. Assess consequences. Assess consequences, that which option better serves society, which option better serves society and public interest. Step 3. Apply constitutional values. Apply constitutional values. Like justice, equality, liberty, dignity. Justice, equality, liberty, dignity, comma, rule of law, etc. And step 4 is seek a balanced solution. Seek a balanced solution. Seek a balanced solution and try to maximize both values, instead of completely sacrificing one. So here you can see, suppose now in this example only, environment versus development. What are we going to do? How are you going to solve it? See, I will write the major things here. Clear forests, move tribals. Now tribals are begging you not to move them. Forests you have to clear, build highways. What balanced solution you are going to come up with? Can you tell me? You understand the question? Tomorrow also we are going to start with this question only. I will tell you how to exactly write. Currently I am just telling you how to think. So now you tell me, what solution will you come up? We cannot just blindly follow the orders. Otherwise it could have been done by AI also. Fine. We are humans. There is a reason why humans exist. Cannot blindly follow the order, cannot just say no to the order. What is the middle path we can achieve? You have to find these solutions only in this particular exam. It is always going to put you, this is a very simple situation. When you see that paper, they are putting you in so much pressure that you don't understand what to do. And in real exam, you really don't have a lot of time to think. So before exam itself, we will do so many case studies that you know ki this is how the answer will come. But now we are starting. First case study. What will you do? Come on, just give any. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so first thing you can do is EIA assessment. Good. Now for that you must know what is EIA assessment. Is that if you have read about environment, you will know what is EIA. If environment is not completed, you might not know it. It is environmental impact assessment. Basically, if I remove the forests, what will be the impact of it on the environment, on people, on insects, on wildlife, etc. So yes, firstly you will do EIA. Fine. What else will we do? How are we going to solve this problem, guys? See, forest you will have to clear because it is the order. You will have to follow rule of law. And they also do not have valid papers. So they cannot claim the right ki we will stay here. But what you can do, firstly you can do one assessment of the whole situation. Then you can say whatever forest we are cutting, we will do afforestation somewhere else. Can we do this? If we have cut 100 trees, we will plant 1000 trees at some other place. Okay, this problem will be solved then. For tribals what we can do? Rehabilitation. These are standard things that are done. You will try to find a place for them and say ki we have to build a highway here, we will relocate you somewhere else, we will give you homes. Or you can see some government scheme which is providing shelter. Yes? PM Awas Yojana. That we can do. And once this is done, if tribals agree, you can also give them compensation. Okay, we are taking away your home, we are giving you some compensation also. We are giving you new land also. Regarding forest, we are doing afforestation. So now we are basically covering everything. Forest problem solved, tribal problem solved. Now the highway can be built very properly. So this is how we arrive at a particular answer. But when we are writing, we will also have to write about some values. Tomorrow we are going to start with case studies also. We are going to write a case study. Every class we will have, we will start with a case study. So by the time we end our classes, we would have gone through a lot of case studies on different issues. Fine? So please continue. Just write one thing. Seek a balanced solution you have written. For example, sustainable development. This is what they call sustainable development. For example, sustainable development. In questions of sustainable development, in questions of environment versus development. In questions of environment versus development. हाँ जी सर, भेज दो, ठीक है ओके। Sustainable development. Now write down moral policing, a related concept. We'll take a break, but let's just finish this particular thing. Moral policing. Moral policing. Have you come across moral policing any time in your life? Moral policing. People randomly. For example, there is a day of Valentine's Day. Yeah? What happens on Valentine's Day? Boys and girls usually visit parks, etc. Fine, they are visiting. And then suddenly there are some people who have taken the responsibility on their shoulders that to save Indian culture, we should not allow these people to roam together. Boys, girls. A very famous example is Bajrang Dal. Very prominent in North India. I am not sure about South India honestly, but very prominent. They just see boys and girls together, they will come, they will just gather around them and I will call your parents, how are you here, why are you here, etc. Some girl is wearing some clothes, they will just come, you are spoiling Indian culture, how can you do this, how can you do that, etc. Some people are taking their cows somewhere, they will come, how can you take your cow like this, etc. There is a proper way how you treat cows, etc. These people, are they police? No, they are moral police. They just come up and try to teach you everything, what is moral, what is non-moral. So these people are, again, they have no authority to teach anybody, but they are teaching. They have taken on their shoulders the responsibility to save India. Fine. Cow vigilantism is one example. Cow vigilants are there. For example, cow is generally worshipped in our country. Fine, it is an animal because it is a cattle. We have been an agricultural economy. We associate a lot of value with cow. But sometimes, suppose you are in a situation, somehow you are going on the highway and some cow comes in front of you. Somehow there is an accident. The cow is injured, you are also injured. But then there will be gathering of a crowd. What will happen if you are in North India in that point of time? You are going to get killed. Those particular people are going to say, how dare you hit a cow? And suppose you belong to some other religion, then definitely this can happen. How is this happening? Who are these people? Moral police. Today on social media also there is a moral police. If a girl is uploading video of her dancing, for example, she is just enjoying. There will be people in comments, you are spoiling our culture, you are doing this, you are doing that, where is your burqa? Who are you? These people are called moral police. This whole thing is called moral policing. Is it ethical? No, it is not ethical. It is not your job to teach people. Because see, our constitution is providing us with something under Article 21. What is there? Personal liberty. Personal liberty, right to life. How can a mob of people take somebody's life? How can you tell somebody what to wear and what not to wear? So all these things, this moral policing goes against our constitutional right of freedom, freedom of expression. Right. Is liberty mentioned somewhere in our preamble also? Yes, how many types of liberty is mentioned in the preamble? Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. 5 types of liberty is there. Fine. But these people just come up, this is called moral policing, unethical. Please write down. Moral policing refers to the attempt by individuals, groups, attempt by individuals, groups, organizations to enforce their own moral beliefs, on others moral beliefs on others, often through intimidation, social pressure, without any legal authority. Without any legal authority. For example, if you see, there was a bandh being observed in Bangalore on Friday, if I am not wrong. Fine. What happens if you still try to open your shop? There are set of people who will come and basically shut down your shop. If you try to open, they'll go against you. How can you not support us? But is it not my personal choice whether I want to open my shop or not? Yes, but you cannot. Sometimes the situation gets so out of hand, they even burn your shop. If you are not standing with us, for example, there are days when auto walas go on strike. These people who are driving the auto. But suppose if I have a family to feed and I want to take out my auto for that day, I want to earn. If I take my auto, the auto walas who have called the strike are going to shatter all the glass that is there on my auto rickshaw. Again, is it legal? No, but moral policing. They want to enforce what they as a collective group believe in onto you. It does not matter what you want. So it actually goes against your freedom of personal liberty. So please write down. It goes against right to personal liberty. It goes against right to personal liberty and is a value conflict and is a type of value conflict is a type of value conflict between personal liberty and collective notions. Personal liberty and collective notions. Examples include Karni Sena of Rajasthan. Karni Sena of Rajasthan. You know what happened? There was a movie which came out, Padmavat, right? And in that Deepika Padukone was the actress, if I am not wrong. And there was a dance sequence in which she was dancing and her waist was showing. So these particular people, Karni Sena people, issued a warning. They said you cannot show a Rajput princess or a queen like this who is showing her waist, and whoever releases this movie in this particular state, we are going to destroy his particular movie theatre. Again, illegal, but collective group is doing something, moral policing. Karni Sena, Rajasthan. Bajrang Dal on Valentine's Day. Next example, religious fatwas. What are fatwas? Yes, ma'am? No, fatwas are basically issued against a person. For example, fatwas word is majorly used in Islamic communities. What happens if you are saying a lot about, for example, you are saying something about their religion. So they will issue a fatwa against you. Ki nobody is going to talk to this person. Or if there is an election happening, so a fatwa is released. Fatwa is a type of declaration ki all our Islamic community is going to vote for this particular party. Fatwa. Is it legal? No. But we will as a group decide something. Religious fatwas, etc. Next in this right only, moral policing occurs due to, moral policing occurs due to, moral policing occurs due to, we'll write 5 points, occurs due to cultural conservatism, cultural conservatism, cultural conservatism. What is conservatism? Basically narrow-minded thinking regarding our culture. Cultural conservatism. Second, religious beliefs. Cultural conservatism, religious beliefs. For example, if you see currently it is a taboo in India right now to talk about sex in public. People don't talk a lot about sex. In fact, when students are in their 7th, 8th class, there is a chapter in biology which is teaching about reproductive system. Many schools are not teaching that chapter altogether. It is not in the syllabus. Why? Because it is cultural conservatism. They think that we should not be talking about these things. But in fact, the idea should be that people should be made aware of how things are happening properly. If you see Indian culture, there are monuments like Khajuraho, fine, who have been talking about physical intimacy and what happens. We are the land of Kama Sutra. So our culture is actually so wide, we can find every river of knowledge out there. We are talking about philosophy, we are talking about science, we are talking about sex, we are talking about everything. But now people don't want to talk about it. If they find anybody talking about it, they will basically ban him and start moral policing. How can you do this? How can you do that? Again, due to cultural conservatism. Women are not. If you see ancient India, women were not wearing a lot of clothes in general. Fine, everybody was free because we are a tropical nation, very hot nation in general. So even men today also there are many men who don't wear a lot of things. Fine, at least on the upper body, men are usually bare. If you go to villages, etc. But we enforce everything on the women. Wear a burqa, wear a ghungat. All those things are coming in now. Why? Because of religious beliefs now. Moral policing. If you go to a village in Rajasthan and you see a woman without a ghungat is something, this sari thing is coming till here. They cannot show their faces. If they show their face, like it is considered like very, very inauspicious thing to do. Sometimes women are even beaten just because they have shown their face. Moral policing. Next, third point. Third point, please write down. Social pressure. Social pressures are there. Fourth, desire to control behavior. Fourth is desire to control behavior. And fifth, misinterpretation of tradition, or morality. Misinterpretation of tradition or morality. Suppose there are two people. You are going on the road and then you see two people. They are gays. You know about the LGBTQ community? Gays, lesbian, bisexuals, etc. Two gays are there and they are walking holding hands with each other. What will you do? You agree with them, you might agree with them with their particular sexual orientation, you might disagree with them. But what will you do? Will you do anything or just walk? Just walk. Because you know that it is their personal liberty. Who are you? But there might be some people who will go to them and they will start engaging. Why are you doing this in public? How can you do this in public? This is not to be done here. Go to your room, do this stuff. Who are they? Moral police. Understand the idea? Unless something illegal is being done, they have no right to interfere. And even if things are illegal, the ideal idea is to call the police and cops to get them arrested or whatever wrong is happening. But if nothing illegal is happening, still some people are engaging and teaching them. That is moral policing. Now we are not doing it with women, so you might not be able to relate with things in Rajasthan. But in Bangalore also, things are not very friendly for LGBTQ people. Whenever they go, at least some uncle of 60-70 age is going to come to them. Ki, what are you going? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Gays, lesbians, these are not encouraged in our society even as of now. Even in modern cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi. Fine, so this is moral policing. So what did we read till now? Firstly, we started with ethics, values, morality. What are values? Some set of principles that we attach value to. What is morality? Yes. Yes. Ethics, societal. After that we moved on to ethics versus morality happens at times. Then we moved on to value conflicts. We saw a lot of value conflicts. Then we saw moral policing. Next topic that we are going to see is determinants of ethics. Ki how ethics are formed in a society. But we will do that after a little break. 10-minute break we'll take. We'll meet after 10 minutes. Shall we start? Why do you guys look so tired? There's no like enthusiasm, energy. Did you guys go out in the break? Like go get some fresh air, guys. Anyway, chalo, let's start. Can you tell me your names again? Your name was? Sandhya. Sandhya, Bhavna, Rekha, Pavini, Nirant. Fine. Okay. So we discussed about moral policing. Fine. And we also discussed about this particular thing that happened in Delhi recently, this protest which happened. Did you see the visuals of the protest, that particular 20th, when the police was actually hitting people brutally? There were nails also sometimes. I want to ask, why police is being so brutal? See, there is one thing, the police is also made of humans and they also carry some particular biases in their life. For example, suppose there is a Hindu-Muslim riot in your city and you belong to one of these particular religions. Either you are a Hindu or a Muslim, assume, and there is a Hindu-Muslim riot which is happening, and now you have like a stick and both groups are charging. Who are you going to hit first? The person belonging to your religion or the person belonging to the other religion? Other religion, honesty. Right now you told me honesty is a value that you attach importance to. We are going to hit the person of other particular community, and we always have some slight preference for our own community. So one thing you have to realize, that police forces are also made of humans and they have a personal life in which they are also following some beliefs. Fine. So that actually creates a problem in policing. The problem is policing is that those people are also not unbiased. They have their own biases. Fine. So something that we need in our police in general is decommunalization of policies. For example, if you see army, any one of you who has army background, some family member in the army? I actually do. So what happens when you go to the army? There is a question which they ask you, what is your religion? And if you say my religion is XYZ particular, they'll make you run 10 rounds. Then they'll again ask you, what is your religion? Again you'll answer the same, again 10 rounds, until you figure out that your religion is only and only army, India. Yes, only that. Because see, when you are in the army, you are leading a group, maybe of 100 people. If you are an officer, you have 100 people behind you. Any one of them can be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, whatever. You cannot claim to be a Hindu or a Muslim. The entire unit, if it has 100 people, that unit will celebrate Diwali, that unit is going to celebrate Eid, that they are going to celebrate Christmas, and everything together. So if you are in the army and you are an officer, you will know a lot about Hindu puja. You will know how to do namaz. Everything is taught to you. You are a person who knows each and every religion, intricacies of it. You will know what Urdu is. You will know Punjabi. You will know it is a mandatory practice for you to read Guru Granth Sahib, which is a Sikh scripture. You have to read Quran. You have to read Gita. Why? Because you should not be communal. You have to take everyone into account. But that is a problem in our police forces currently. Anyway, yes please. So see, just this one topic we discussed about police being partial at times, biased at times. So there is a very famous quote of Plato which comes here. The famous quote of Plato. Anybody from political science? Optional? No. State is individual writ large. Basically, Plato is trying to say something over here. What Plato is saying, that state or police or army, whatever, is made of individuals. State is nothing but individuals which have been converted into a large group, and all those individuals are carrying their own biases. Fine. So this is a problem in policing. Just because we discussed moral policing, I told you something about policing. Basically what we discussed is, suppose you are a IPS officer, there are Hindu-Muslim riots happening, and you belong to one religion of them, Hindu or Muslim, you are one of them. Now there are riots and you have a stick in your hand. Both of them are charging and fighting with each other. Who are you going to hit first? The person from your religion or the other religion? That is going to happen. Why? Because policemen are also men in the end. Fine? They also have their biases. So for that purpose only, there is this very famous statement of Plato, that state is nothing but individual writ large. So those biases creep into the system also. Fine. So that is one thing related to moral policing only. Next, write one heading: significance of ethics. Significance of ethics. Significance of ethics. So we read a lot about ethics. There is a whole chapter on ethics. What do you think are the benefits or significance of ethics? Easy question. I don't think they will ask this easy. You can generate some points. What is the significance of ethics in life? Why should we be ethical? What is the point of being ethical? I can give you 5 points of being unethical. Significance of being unethical: you will be rich, you will have a lot of material things in life, fine, you will have a lot of power sometimes. But what is the significance of being ethical, of ethics? Self-satisfaction can be one. Yes, satisfaction can be there. Being unethical also might give you a lot of satisfaction when you are sitting in a Lamborghini. That is also very satisfying feeling. What else? Significance of ethics. Peaceful, yes. You can sleep peacefully at night without caring about somebody might come to know and this will happen, that will happen. Peace, satisfaction. What else? Come on, we can generate. It is a generic question. Why is it so necessary to be ethical? What benefit it serves? Do you think it has some role in good governance? If government servants or politicians are ethical, your society is going to be better. If they are all unethical, there is corruption, there are bribery, everything happening, not a good society. So it also leads to a better society, leads to better prosperous society. Do you think it also enhances the quality of life? If suppose people are not ethical, if you walk out and you are afraid of getting raped, you are afraid of getting murdered, you are afraid of getting like hit by people on the street, do you think it is a bad quality of life? Of course it is bad. But if the society is ethical, there are societies, you must have heard about places like Japan, where people don't lock their homes, they just go. Nobody comes in there and just steals their things. But when we in India are leaving our homes, we do double, triple locks. Everything we are doing. Why? Because we know what is going to happen. If you open it, somebody is going to take it away. So, yes, there is always a fear of, there is a, or you can say crime, fear of crime is there. What else? Significance of ethics. I want you to generate points. There is no wrong answer here. Very generic question. What, or you can simply think, if there are no ethics, what all can happen? Do you think the society will be fair? You are preparing for the exam, you are working hard, somebody will get 1 crore rupees and get selected. So it will be unfair society. What unfair society will lead to? If you are giving exam again and again, you are being honest, you know you should get selected, but you are not able to. Is it a consequence of mismanagement? Again, will it, some people will take up arms against the state? Yes. So ultimately it is going to lead to civil war. You are going to fight against the government, everything, because you see the system is not working. Hard work is not being rewarded. So all these are significance of ethics. Please write down significance of ethics. The ones you have noted down, don't write them again. Some new ones, please write down. Significance of ethics. First, impartiality and fairness. Impartiality and fairness. Second, builds a better society. builds a better society? So see, now we are in ethics. So we will try to use the vocabulary of ethics. Right. Significance, in significance we will write some ethical terms. And when we will be like 4 or 5 lectures into ethics, you will know the vocabulary. Every subject has a vocabulary. For example, when you are writing polity, a lot of words are introduced in polity, personal liberty, freedom, secular, all that. In ethics we have another vocabulary. We will just keep on seeing. Second, what did you write? Leads to a better society. Third, fosters tolerance. Fosters tolerance. Do you think an ethical society will be more tolerant? Yes. Do you think Taliban is tolerant? Taliban is tolerant? They are not tolerant. A woman, if she is not wearing burqa, they don't care because no ethics. They will just kill him or her. So fosters tolerance. Next, acts as a moral compass. Acts as a moral compass. Acts as a moral compass. So when you are taking a decision, sometimes you might be, you know that by doing this unethical thing, nobody is going to know. You can have some benefit. But then there is an inner voice which says, don't do it, don't do it. Sometimes this wins, sometimes this wins. When you are lying to a person, we all lie, or anybody here who has never lied in life, everybody lies. When you are lying, somewhere down the line there is 1% thought ki I am doing something wrong, I am lying, but still we do it. But if you are doing something very bad, then there is a voice that stops you, that don't do this particular thing. If basically your friend, basically she has kept a purse here and you can see that there are 500 rupee notes, fine. As humans, we will be tempted to just take out one note, but will we do it? No, we will not do it. Why? If there are no cameras also, somebody might say there are cameras, that's why we won't do it. But even if there are no cameras, there will be a voice, ethical voice inside you which will say, don't do it. So that is why they act as a moral compass. What things are right to do, what are wrong to do. Ethics decide. Tell me one thing also. If you are going to a beach versus if you are going to a village in Rajasthan, will your dressing change?
Yes.
Why? You are the same person, morality is same, but why will it change? Because ethics are different of that particular Rajasthan village and the ethics of a beach in Goa. So you are understanding what I am trying to say, ki all these things, ethics versus morality, place is specific, fine. So please write down significance of ethics. Next is acts as a moral compass. Next, reduces stress. Reduces stress. An ethical person always sleeps stress free unless somebody is threatening you. Fine. If you are a very honest or ethical civil servant, sometimes you might receive some threats. He will kill your family, will do this with you, will do this with you. That time only stress comes in. Next, write down material gains. Material gains. Now you have to tell me how being ethical leads to material gains in life. Material gains basically earning more money, better business. How being ethical can lead to material gains? Any examples that we know? Have you heard about Mr. Ratan Tata? Do we all somewhere trust Tatas? Why? Do we trust Adanis that much or Ambanis or any other house? But somehow we trust Tata. Why? Because they have been ethical. They have had a history of being ethical. They don't cheat their customers. They are not just for profit making. They are also making cancer institutes. They are doing a lot for the society. So there is a feeling of trust with the Tatas. But that being ethical of Tata is ultimately leading to material gains. If there is a product of 20 rupees, one is a local company, other is Tata, you will buy Tata. So it also leads to material gains. Next, it leads to happiness for all. Happiness for all. Happiness for all. In bracket you can write a term, summum bonum. Summum bonum. What is summum bonum? Have you came across this term any time? It is a philosophical term. Please read about it. Fine. You have to use these terms. Summum bonum. It is an ancient Indian philosophical term, like Vasudeva Kutumbakum is. Summum bonum. Next, write down freedom from bias and prejudices. Freedom from bias and prejudices. Freedom from bias and prejudices. And last significance is it resolves ethical dilemmas. It resolves ethical dilemmas. So what are ethical dilemmas now? Can you tell me what are ethical dilemmas? What is dilemma? Confusion. Confusion is called dilemma. You have to choose between two things. Ethical dilemma is one situation in which you have to choose between two right options. Right versus right. For example, that environment versus development debate only. Environment is also the right thing to do. Development is also the right thing to do. This is a situation of an ethical dilemma. What to do? Or suppose you are a judge in Supreme Court. Now you have a case. A person has come to you, and basically he is saying, "Hear my case." You know that person is correct. That person is your distant relative. Now you know that this fact that this person is your relative is not going to affect your judgment. You will be impartial. You are a very honest person. So will you go on by taking the case and giving the judgment, or you will say, I don't want to take the case? What will you do? You will take the case. But that is not the right thing to do. Because see, you will do justice, but if you give judgment in his favor, there will always be 10 people who will say that this is a biased judgment. So there is a saying in justice that justice should not only be done, it should also be seen as justice. Others should believe that justice is done. So in such scenario, for example, suppose you are going for UPSC IAS interviews. The chairman over there is your father. Fine. And then somehow you perform amazingly well in your interviews and you get very good scores. Do you think the whole world is going to say that there is something fishy? Yes, people are going to say that how can father interview a daughter? They cannot. So this is, he is a very ethical person, but still this is a situation of a ethical dilemma. We will talk about ethical dilemmas in detail, a lot of ethical dilemmas. All our case studies will focus on value conflicts and ethical dilemmas. Some situation they will put you in, ethical dilemmas. But if there is an ethical society will solve ethical dilemma. Because see, if you are IAS officer again, I'll make you IAS officer a lot of times here, so you can get that feeling and that pressure. You are IAS officer, you know a sand mafia is in play. There is somebody, a sand mafia, and he is taking out all the sand and using it illegally. You decide to go against that sand mafia. You are basically stopping all his projects, issuing warnings and notices and everything to him. Then later that night you receive a call. The call says, stop this or tomorrow your daughter will not come home from the school. This is her address, this is her photo, this is her class, this route she comes from, we have tracked everything. This is your last warning. Now what will you do? Is the safety of your daughter your priority in life? Yes. But doing your job is also your priority. This situation is what they call ethical dilemma. So how to resolve this? We'll see. We'll come to ethical dilemmas, then we'll see what to do. But these situations arise. You must have heard cases where actually people have died. Sand mafias have killed officers. Have you heard about Satyendranath Dubey? Yes? Yes, they were just doing their duty, but they were killed because they were stopping those mafias from making a lot of money. So there have been cases, we'll discuss all those cases also. Next heading, please write determinants of ethics. Determinants of ethics. Determinants of ethics. So now in determinants of ethics, the question is, you said that you all value honesty, hard work, tolerance. Do you all value tolerance? How are you coming up with these values? A child is born. A child is like a clean slate, knows nothing. But somehow he develops some values. He might be honest, he might be dishonest also. He might be truthful and also he might be lying. We all lie. Some people lie a lot. Some people are very loyal, but some people are opportunistic. For example, you must have seen people who are working only in one company for 20, 30 years. And then there is one person who is switching every single year. A person whose whole goal in life is to buy a BMW or a chopper. There is one person who's like, I just want a good family life. So what is making these ethics? Why are you so fascinated with the car? Why are you so fascinated with honesty? Why do you want to become a civil servant officer? All these, from where is this stemming? What is making ethics? Where do ethics come from? That is what we are going to read in determinants of ethics. You understand? So now can you tell me from where ethics come? Family? Family has a role to play. School? School has a role to play. For example, family. Let us suppose there is family. Do you think your family had a role to play in what you are now? For example, if you belong to a family which was very authoritative, father and mother are very strict, so this child will have certain values. He will have discipline. Yes, every day he was woken up at 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. So now he has discipline in life. What else this person will have? What else? Respecting elders. Yes, you have to respect elders or be fearful. This person will be obedient also. Yes, he will be obedient. Compare this to a person who is coming from a very liberal family. He will have different set of values. This person might also be very hardworking, good in studies. His parents are all focused on him clearing IIT. You have to clear, you have to clear. He used to study a lot. Then there comes a family, very liberal family. He might be indisciplined, might wake up at 10 a.m. right? Might sleep at 4. Indisciplined. But do you think he will have more critical thinking? He will not be very obedient. He will not say yes sir. He will question. Why this? Because his parent always allowed questioning. So he will be critical thinking. He will try to find logic rather than rote learning. So you understand how family is making a difference. Now suppose there is a person who is growing up in, again we are on family only, a person who is growing in a Rajasthan family, patriarchal family versus a US family, suppose, or Bangalore for that matter, let us keep it relevant. Will he believe in patriarchy or gender equality? Patriarchy, because he has seen women being treated in a certain way. There is a role that mother plays, there is a role that his sister is playing, his grandmother, basically kitchen, and that only that is the role of females as per his knowledge. So he will, or he might have a patriarchal mindset. But this, we are talking generally. There might be people who are very, very forward looking in Rajasthan also. So he will be focusing on gender equality. Towards LGBTQ, he might have a very conservative point of view, but he might be very liberal. Will he go against his elders? No. He might? Yes. He will always think about the society first. People in villages are talking always about the society, we. But people in metros are talking about I, me, my progress, my life, my rules. Remember, I want to get educated there. They will always focus a lot on education. He might be talking a lot about business. If you see Rajasthan, Gujarat, they are mainly business oriented states. So you see how family structures are playing in building up your values. Some children are basically they don't have their mothers or fathers in their childhood. Maybe he is working outside India, or maybe he passed away or she passed away due to some complication. Do you think his set of values will be different? Yes, because if you know your mother, you tend to learn 10 things from her. If you have access to your father, you learn 10 things from her. Mother and father also give you different sort of ethics. Mother is going to teach you values like kindness, love, struggle. How do you do it? Father might sometimes teach you hard work, because that is what he has seen in life. It is a generalistic statement. He will always tell you how to fight with the world, go outside. So mother, father also teach you different things. Family teaches you a lot of different things. So you understand, these are the values which are being taught. So please write down. Determinants of ethics. Three levels of determinants. Three levels of determinants. Three levels. Individual level. Individual level. Second, organization, profession or society level. And third is national level. National level. Write down at individual level. At individual level. At individual level. First, at individual level. First is family. First is family. Do you think family has a huge role to play? Why? Because they are the first agent of socialization. Social life, your social life begins with your family. When you are 2, 3, 4 years of age, all you see, all you talk to is your family, mother, father, grandparents, sisters, brother, that all. So, and they are your formative years. Fine. If in your 2, 3 years, if all they are teaching you to slap, there is some guys, come on beta, slap, slap. That person is going to turn a bit violent in his lifetime. Fine. So family, please write down. Family is the first. Family is the first agent of socialization. Family is the first agent of socialization. It is said that family is the first school. Family is the first school, and parents are the first teachers. And parents are the first teachers. It carries immense significance. It carries immense significance in shaping values. In shaping values, because of the deep emotional investment, because of the deep emotional investment involved in inculcating them. Deep emotional investment involved in inculcating them. Involved in inculcating them. In bracket you can write informal inculcating them, bracket informal socialization. Write down values like so what values are taught by the family? This has been a question asked multiple times. How family is an agent of socialization? How school is an agent of socialization? So they ask. So I want you to tell which values do you think family teaches? Are you influenced by your mother or father? You see a reflection of their behaviors in your behavior. So can you tell me some values? Yes, ma'am. Honesty. Okay. Yes. Discipline is more taught by the school. When we'll see school, you have to come at 7 a.m. etc. So discipline we'll talk there. Honesty also can be talked in that particular place. Love. Kindness. Respect for elders. Your mother tells you, okay, when there is a child, some guest comes in, beta greet them, say namaste, whatever it is. Fine. So respect for elders. They also tell you to talk to your sister properly, talk to your brother properly. So feeling of brotherhood. Please write down. Values like love, kindness, care. Love, kindness, care, brotherhood, respect for elders. All these are taught by family. And how these values are transmitted? How they are transmitted? Yes, please write down. They are transmitted through, next line, they are transmitted through. How do you learn? Yeah, I should do this. First is observation. Observation. 50% of your values are by observation. You observe your father behaving in a particular way, mother, brother. You also start to behave in that particular way. Fine. So in class there is a decorum. Did anyone teach you to sit quietly or sit like this? Why are you not sitting with your legs on your desk? Because you are observing. Because nobody is doing that, I will also not do that. So observing. Second is conditioning. So what is conditioning? Conditioning is basically telling somebody do this. This is good, this is bad. For example, if somebody is lying, for example, there is a kid and he is eating mud. Will the mother bring him, slap him? So now he knows that I should not do this. For example, if there is a child and he has learnt a cuss word, fine, he has learnt little abuse from somewhere and he starts to speak it. Will the mother, father come, give a tight slap and then he'll stop? Why? He is being conditioned. Okay, this is wrong thing to do. This is right thing to do. If he does something very good, the whole family claps. If you have a child at home, everybody is encouraging, wow, wow, wow. So now he knows this is something positive. I should do this. You understand? So conditioning. Observation is one way. Conditioning. Third is customs or rituals. For example, some families have a rule that every day a son has to touch the feet of the father and mother. Fine? So that is a custom they follow. If the child is seeing it in his family since his childbirth, he will also start doing that. Fine? It is a part of observation, but also a reason also attributed to customs. For example, if you have a festival at home, do you wear traditional clothes or modern western clothes? Traditional. Why? Why are we doing that? Custom, rituals. We have been doing it. Fine. So we are learning it from our family only. Next is custom, rituals. Next, emotional experience. Emotional experience. Emotional experience. Emotional experience. So do you think family is very, very important in how you are shaped? Definitely. Fine. In fact, if you ever go and see a therapist, some people are suffering from anxiety, depression, and they see a therapist. First thing the therapist asks is, tell me about your childhood. Were in childhood you had any trauma? Because when people do not have a good childhood, it is seen that they usually have a very bad mental state in their adult life. So if you have a very, for example, a child who has seen his parents going through a divorce, do you think his mental state has also undergone some degradation? He has seen fights happening. So that is why you will see today that when parents fight, they ask the child to leave to another room. They don't want to fight in front of the child. Why? Because that is going to give him some negative feedback, some negative values are going to be inculcated. So family is very, very important. Family is going to form the base of what you are. If you have a good loving family, the child is also going to be very loving, good child. If it is a very selfish and a family which is always involved in spats, it is going to be difficult. So there is a quote. Please write a quote. Very important, very good quote. It is easier to build strong children. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Broken men. Men, women, men. You understand? It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Fine. Next, write down. Family structure. Next line. Family structures shape different values. Family structures shape different values. Family structures shape different values. Example. Nuclear family. So now, what values will a nuclear family give versus a joint family? Will it make a difference? Yes, depends on the type of family you are living in. Tell me, some values which nuclear family will always. A person growing in nuclear family, it will be like common sense for him. Division of labor. In nuclear family, suppose if both father and mother are working, will he ever think this way that mother's role is to cook food in the kitchen? He will always see that both work. Fine. So division of labor is a value. Gender equality is a value. Do you think this person will do his own work more properly? Because nuclear families, their mother is also going, father is also going. But in a joint family, there are 10 people, mother is too caring, or somebody, some sister is there, I will do this for you, you relax. Too much love is also sometimes dangerous. Must have happens a lot to boys. They don't know how to cook. Cooking is a very, very basic essential necessity. But mother is always cooking, somebody is there, they don't develop this skill. They don't know how to clean stuff. They don't even know how to properly put a bed sheet on your bed. Why? Because they've never done it. But do you think a person who is growing up in a nuclear family will know that thing? So you can write. Third, individual oriented values like cooking, driving, etc. etc. And some values which a joint family will give. Yes, correct. Families will always ask you to socialize. Respect. Respect elders. Write down. Joint family, you can just simply draw 2-3 arrows. Respecting elders. Dependent children, correct. Dependent children. Pampered children, you can write one more. Pampered children, over pampered children. Indiscipline. Indiscipline can be there compared to a nuclear family. Then write down. Yes, ma'am. Then write down next. Authoritative versus conservative family. Sorry, authoritative versus democratic family. Authoritative versus democratic family. I will not make you write the values here. I think now you can write. Authoritative family will always focus on discipline, etc. Democratic will focus more on discussions. For example, in your house, if your father is buying a car, is it a discussion or just father decides I am going to get this car and he gets that car? It's a discussion. Do you think your grandfather, when he was at his time and he had to get something, he was also involved in discussions? No, because at that point females' opinions or children opinion were not considered superior to males. Fine. So again, authoritative versus democratic. Now the families are very democratic. Children are speaking up to their fathers. If you know, in the previous generations, father cannot hug their own sons. There was some friction. Nobody is saying anything, but a son will hug his mother, but not his father. No reason why. Again, not that democratic. We have never opened up with our fathers that way. But today's generation is pretty much opened up. People talk to them about everything. Fine. Today people also tell their father, this is my boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. I am dating this person. They are okay with it anyway. Now if you see, there is growing acceptance of love marriage in the society. Earlier it was like it has to be arranged marriage. Today many people are okay with love marriages, inter-caste marriages. People are opening up. Democratic system are coming up. So authoritative versus democratic. Next, write down. Conservative versus liberal. Conservative versus liberal. If you see the families in Western world, Europe, US, they have a tradition of wine and dine. If there is for example, in the refrigerators, there is alcohol, liquor over there. In India, liquor is considered a taboo. It is considered a very bad thing to do. And it is not very common that Indian children or Indian sons or daughters are doing it in front of their mother and father. It is like frowned upon even today. Some families do it, some people are very chill about it. But if you are in Europe, this is very common. If you are eating food, like there is curd with our food, there is a wine with their food. It's okay. Again, a difference of cultures. Conservative families versus liberal families. They are fine with it. So again, this is how family impacts different set of values. Next, write down school. Next agent of socialization is school. Write down. School is the first formal source of socialization. First formal source of socialization. It has immense significance as it operates during formative years. It operates during formative years in formative years of life. In formative years of life, when the value formation is deepest, when the value formation is deepest and most intense, You can write a quote about education. Education is a topic in GS2, sometimes GS3 education is being asked, GS4 education is a topic, even in GS1 it is asked sometimes. So there is a very good quote which you can use anywhere. You see a question on education, start with a quote. Write down. Education is an ornament. Education is an ornament in prosperity. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. Ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. Aristotle. Said by Aristotle. So now can you tell me what values are given by school? What values is school teaching? Discipline, yes. Be disciplined. You remember morning assembly? Your shoes should be clean. Till today I am cleaning my shoes. If you are also wearing formal shoes, you must be polishing them at least sometimes. Why? Because that has been inculcated in your brain, that your shoes should be clear, your nails should be cut, you should be dressed in a proper way. You don't open your buttons and go. Discipline. Uniformity, very good. Uniformity. Or rather uniformity, if you can say equality. Why is there a uniform in the school? Yes, so that if somebody is poor also, he cannot afford very lavish clothes, and then there's somebody who is wearing Gucci, Zara clothes in front of them. Do you think if everybody is wearing these clothes, there will be a divide? Yes, so that is why uniform. It does not matter, your economic status does not matter, your religion does not matter, it's uniform. There, if you remember, at that point of time, it never occurred to you whether your friend is very rich or poor or what. You just enjoyed because you had fun with that person. Today, people judge you by what car you drive, what bike you have, how your house is, which phone do you use. You use an iPhone or you use a Redmi or a OnePlus. So again, to avoid all that judgment, the idea of uniform is there. Which value it holds? Equality. Everybody is equal. What else? What else school teaches us? You can keep on writing simultaneously. And also think, tell me, more values. Ethics is all about values. This whole paper, speak up. Punctuality. Punctuality is the term. Punctuality. If you were late to school, either you were kept standing somewhere or you were sent back. Fine? Punctuality. You have to be punctual. What else? Do schools have sports? Do you learn about team spirit? Team spirit. Leadership. You all had some houses in school, green house, blue house, yellow house. That whole idea is leadership. Competitive spirit. Competitive spirit. Basically, school teaches you what to do when you lose. Otherwise, some people who have never, if you have been in sports, any of you who has played sports in school actively, a quality of a sports person is they know that they will lose at times and they take their loss very in a much better way than a person who has not been a sports person. For example, if today you are giving UPSC See, there is a very high chance you might not clear. It is, you know the math. Only 1% people, you're not even 1%. So you might fail at any stage. But somebody who knows that yes, this is the risk, there is a chance I might not win, will take it in a more improved way, rather than you have seen some people in quota who do suicides. If they are not able to clear a paper, they could just go and hang themselves, because they don't know how to take a loss. But people who are in sports know what is competitive spirit, leadership. Also, when you are having a competition against someone, do you just go and fight and kill that person, or is it a healthy competition? Healthy competition. You all here are in a competition. You are fine. There are 100,000 seats. If she gets it, you get only access to 999. Fine. But it is a healthy competition. So you learn about it. What else the school teaches? Extracurricular activities. Yes, there is. Yes, ma'am. Communication. Very good. Communication is taught by school. Formal communication. How do you talk to people? Communication. Brotherhood. Write down brotherhood. Does the school prohibit you from cheating in exams? Why? To inculcate a value of honesty. So write down honesty. Honesty. Anything else? Tolerance. See, when you are in family, everybody is saying the same thing. Even if you are doing some nagging stuff, it's your mother, father, they will ultimately do it for you. Okay, fine. But in school, you will come across people who are not going to agree with you. Why should they agree with you? You want to play football, they want to play cricket. They are not agreeing with you. Now what do? If you are at your home, you will just start crying. Your mother will say, okay, fine, we will play. But not in school. So you listen, okay, fine, people are not going to agree with me every time. So tolerance. You learn how to tolerate. And what was tolerance? What was tolerance? We discussed, we wrote. Please tell me. I told you it is going to come a multiple number of times. What is tolerance? An attitude of fairness. Remember, we'll repeat this again and again. An attitude of fairness towards people who do not agree with your viewpoint. Fine. So this is the definition. They are saying something else, but you will be fair to them. And whenever tolerance comes, there was a quote I told you, that I might not agree with what you say, but I will till my death defend your right to say so. Fine. So tolerance we learn in school. What else? Do you think you're writing exams in school, but you get 7th rank in class, not the first rank? What does this teach you? It teaches you about merit. Merit. If you work hard, then only you are going to get the best rank. Otherwise, no. There is no privilege. You come from a rich background, does not mean you will get the first rank. Fine. In sports, there is a different parameter. If you run fastest, then only you will be given the first prize. So merit. Next, write down. How many have we written? 13. Then they are fine. You can think of a lot more values. So this is education. What school teaches us. Just write one more. The value to take losses. Write like this. To take losses, or simply write sportsmanship. Sportsmanship. Right? Sportsmanship. Sportsmanship basically means that when you lose, you take it in your stride. Write down next line. Apart from these values, school also develops interpersonal skills, cognitive skills, comma, psychomotor skills, PSYCHO, psychomotor skills, and social skills. They develop it through, full stop, they develop it through extracurricular channels. Like sports, cultural meets, NCC programs, etc. So what is the main goal of education in general? Is it only to develop intelligent students? No, it's a very narrow thing. So why do we have these cultural meets in school, sports? They should only teach math, science, physics. Why are they teaching that? Because overall development, holistic development. Basically the idea is intelligence plus character. A man of character they need to bring out. So we'll continue on this tomorrow. Tomorrow I think the class will be 10 to 1. Yes? Is it a favorable time? Yes. Okay, fine. Tomorrow at 10 we meet. Thank you everyone. Is it fine? Ethics is interesting? Yes? Okay, be regular then. सब हो गया बस। सुबह नहीं थे आप नीचे?
नहीं, थोड़ा
बाहर गए।
तो उधर इधर जाने को बोलते रहते हैं।
अच्छा।